A woman named Rose once wrote a letter to dear Abby. In it, she said, "I am 44 and would like to meet a man with no bad habits." To which Abby replied, "So would I." Of course, neither Abby nor Rose would ever meet such a man with no bad habits. Mr. Perfect does not exist. Ashley, I'm sorry to tell you that. And Josh, I'm sorry to tell you that no perfect woman exists either. Well, present company excluded. Oh wait, Carol's here, I can't say that. Oh. If you look for Mr. Perfect or Ms. Perfect, you will never find that person ever. We are flawed, all of us. No exceptions. No one is blameless. No one is flawless. No one. Not our spouse, not our children, not our best friend, not our worst enemy, and most assuredly not ourselves. Apostle John's words, "If we say we have no sin in us, we are deceiving ourselves." You know, it's been rightly said that there's so much good in the worst of us and so much bad in the best of us that it is hard to tell which of us ought to reform the rest of us. In our lesson, Jesus encountered a man named Zacchaeus, a notorious sinner who had succeeded in rejecting the worst in himself and embracing the best in himself. As a tax collector, we assume that from what we know of the social conditions of those times, that Zacchaeus had grown rich, acquiring at least some of his fortune through unethical business practices. That is what tax collectors were like in those days. However, he had repented. He had reformed his life. He had changed his ways. And when this Jesus, whom everyone was talking about, came to town, he was determined to get close to Jesus. Large numbers of people had turned out to greet Jesus as he entered the city, and because Zacchaeus was a very short person, the crowd blocked his view. He was unable to see Jesus. Most of us know what he did. He ran out in front, but that didn't work, and then he climbed a sycamore tree, which was along Jesus' route, and that did work. Jesus saw this excited man perched on the tree, and he said, "Come down, hurry, because I must stay at your house today." Hearing this, the crowd became resentful toward Jesus. They knew that this man was a tax collector. He had gone to stay in a sinner's house, they complained. For this reason, Zacchaeus was eager to tell Jesus that he had in fact reformed his life, that he was sincerely trying to do God's will. He told Jesus that he had gone far beyond the requirements of the laws in his effort to right his wrongs. He had hurt people, and he was walking that extra mile in order to be reconciled to them. And he was excited about this. That's why he scurried around the fringes of the crowd trying to get a glimpse of Jesus, why he scrambled up that sycamore tree, why he quickly came down when Jesus spoke to him. Something wonderful and exciting had happened, and he just had to share this good news with Jesus. Whereupon Jesus said, "Today salvation has come to this house." No longer would money be Zacchaeus' number one priority. No longer would his love of money get in the way of his need to love other people, the same people he had at one time treated with such contempt. As the Apostle Paul has written, this is the day of salvation. In the New Testament book of James, we read, "The nearer you go to God, the nearer God will come to you. Cleanse your hands and clear your minds. Humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will lift you up." Clean hands, in this biblical sense, signifies a pure heart. Paul wrote that the aim of Jesus' followers is to love, coming out of a pure heart, a clear conscience, and a sincere faith. Once upon a time, in a small Russian village, there lived a rabbi who had a vision that the Messiah was passing through that part of the world. Fearful that the Messiah might bypass such a small village, the people constructed a lookout tower on the main road. And then they hired a man to sit in that watchtower to look for the Messiah's arrival. One day, a friend walked past the tower and called up to the watchman, "How do you like your job waiting for the Messiah?" The man in the tower yelled back, "The pay isn't much, but it's steady work." There is no town small enough to be bypassed by Jesus. Not a single human heart is bypassed by his loving, saving presence. Even if we begin to sink into the deep pit of despair, his saving hand is reaching out to us. As we draw near to him, he will draw near to us. As we draw near to him, he will empower us to carry on the steady work of loving others. As we draw near to him, we will discover that the pay is good as we humble ourselves in the service of others. After listening to her suitor's marriage proposal, a woman tried to be subtle in her response. "I'm sorry, John," she said, "but I simply cannot be your wife." To which John asked, "Why not? Is there someone else?" Whereupon the woman replied, "Oh, John, there must be." Perhaps at this very moment, you feel like you're beginning to sink into a place of despair. Perhaps as you feel yourself going deep down, you want to cry out, "There must be someone else. There must be something else. And there must be something better in life." And if that sounds like you, then now is the time to open your heart to the Lord. Now is the time to reach out and draw near to him, for today is the day of salvation. Thanks be to God. Amen.